watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Hello, thanks for watching Medical Talk. I'm your host, Betty Lamar. Today we're talking about the importance of becoming an organ tissue donor with Gehanna kidney transplant recipient and Zola Burgess, Mid-South Transplant Foundation. Well, hello ladies and welcome to Medical Talk. I'm so happy to have you all here with me today.
Thank you for inviting us.
Good morning.
Well, I'm always excited. You know, in full disclosure, I registered a few years ago, Zola. So I am, each year I'll contact Randa.
Yes.
And to ask for a recipient to join me because I feel it's so very important.
It's very important.
That the community know how important it is.
Yes.
And I love to have a recipient with me so we can see what being an organ tissue donor means.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's just get this started. I would like for each one of you, starting with you, Ms. Burgess, just tell our viewers a little bit about who you are, and the same with you, Ms. Hannah.
Okay.
I'm Zola Burgess, and I am with Mid-South Transplant Foundation. Mid-South Transplant, I am the community outreach coordinator. And we go out and we talk about the need for organ donors. And there is a great need. Even in our city, there is an absolute great need.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Gehanna, and I am a kidney transplant recipient, 1 year and 9 months to the date. And prior to receiving my kidney, I was on dialysis for 5 years and 40 days. And because someone registered to be an organ donor, I was blessed to receive the call on New Year's Day of last year that there was a match in a kidney for me. And so I'm alive and well today because of the organ donation.
Okay, that's perfect. Now, I'm going to go back to you.
Okay.
Ms. Zola. Tell me, you don't mind if I call you Zola?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So take us to the foundation. Exactly what do you all do and how do you all come into play with the actual organ recipients?
Oh, okay. Mid-South Transplant, first of all, we are a federally designated organ and tissue procuring organization. And what we do, we go around and we talk. We talk to different churches, different events. We host health fairs. We do a lot to just get the word out. And when a person registers, we have a close relationship with the Department of Motor Vehicle. So, and they would ask you, do you want to register to be an organ donor? Now they're changed their little slogan, say, do you want to save a life?
Okay.
And that's what it's all about. So if a person has registered, we have a different thing that we do. If that person has come upon death, and which death could happen in so many ways, and if that person has been declared deceased, then we have the opportunity to go in and speak to the families. We speak to the family. It's a twofold here. We speak to the family if they have not been registered, then we will go to them and ask them to donate their organs, their loved ones' organs, to save other people. And that is so very, very difficult because the families are in shock themselves. So we give them time to let it kind of resonate in that. And a different type of donation would be a person when they register to donate. And that's what we call consent. They gave the consent to donate their organs, and we share that with the family. So after we've done all of that, so we have a yes, then Mid-South Transplant is responsible for making sure those organs are in pristine position so that we can transplant patients like Gay. So
Okay.
we evaluate it, we do blood type, we do everything. But before that, the hospital, they're responsible for making sure that the person is deceased. We are there to manage the donor.
Well, you know, I'm so happy to hear you say that because, you know, of course we have 2 more segments. So once we get into this, to her journey,
Yes.
you know, we're going to be rolling
Yes.
with that.
Yes.
So I just want to get some things out right now to make sure we get them out about
Yes.
what you do. Because there's a lot of myths
Yes.
and misconceptions out
Oh,
here.
absolutely.
About, well, I don't want to be a donor because they may let me die to get my organs. I'm like, that's a whole different skill set. When you go to the hospital, they don't know if you, like me, I signed up probably 10 years ago. I registered. If I go into the trauma center, they don't know. Their job is to save my life.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, and then you all come in after they
After.
could not
Absolutely.
save my life.
Yes.
But I do have a question for you before I go over to Gay. How do you all know when I pass away that I'm already on the register?
Okay, when you get your driver's license, this is for a new and renewed driver's license. You have registered, so we have a relationship with the Department of Motor Vehicle. No one knows that you're a registered donor except Miss South Transplant, and Motor Vehicle doesn't do all of that. So Miss South Transplant will pull your registry down, and we check on the patients to see if they are registered.
Okay.
And that's after the doctors have done at least 5 tests.
Okay. Well, what I did, and then we're going to go to break here in a moment. I did my actual registration on your website.
Yes.
So I guess I should still make sure it's on my driver's license, but
You
I
should
actually
have a little
registered.
heart on there.
Really?
You should have a little heart on your license.
That means that,
You are registered.
okay, all right, well then, I'm good. And I'm going to ask you something else later about, because I want to get into the tissue part of
Oh,
it.
absolutely.
Because most of us don't know the difference
Right.
between the tissue. So when we come back
Yes.
from this break, then we're going to go over to the actual recipient,
Okay.
this gay, because I want to know her journey.
Oh, yes.
Because most people, like this kidney doctor, nephrologist that's on my show a lot, say there's a silent, your kidneys is a silent
Yes.
disease.
Yes.
And you may not know until you end up at the emergency
Yes.
room.
Yes.
Stay tuned for more medical talk.
Camera 1, switch audio, cue talent.
So GHS-TV was started in 1982 by Frank Bluestein, the department's founder.
It's a multi-million-dollar television studio, and students who are a part of it have the opportunity to do real-world work.
Welcome to GHS Insider, the show.
What makes this program unique is the students here. We come with a lot of potential and a lot of talent, and we also come with the mindset of we have to do this, we can do this.
In this class, we really have the ability to be as creative as we want to be.
On the show today, we take you to the side. When you see yourself on a screen, it's a feeling where it's like, I actually contributed to something, I actually did something that matters to people.
We have fun days, like when we do shows and we do a really good show, it's that adrenaline of like, oh wow, we just did a really good show, we did it. Hey everyone, I'm Brooklyn White.
And there's a real sense of pride that comes from completing a show that you have written, produced, thought of on your own. And that sense of pride is really important, and it keeps us motivated because we want to do more. We want to experience that feeling again.
We're always pushing the kids, we're always challenging them, and they rise to the challenge.
So the program has absolutely changed a lot for me. It has given me a view into the arts and has let me see that I really do enjoy working behind a camera as well as in front of the camera.
The future of our program really, a lot of times, is up to the students. It's their willingness to see beyond what is here and what it can be. Year to year, it changes with the students, but the ability of the students never changes.
Go Red Devils!
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Medical Talk. I'm Betty Lamar, and we're talking about the importance of becoming an organ tissue donor. Welcome back, ladies. I am so happy to be having this conversation. This is an annual show that I do. I make sure I do this show because I know how important it is.
Yes.
I always tell people that what good does it do to bury it in the ground when you can save lives?
Absolutely.
Because it's no longer going to do you any good. And I think about sometime, now I drive a Porsche, so I'm driving 120, 130 as fast as I can. I'm making a point. As fast as I can, as long as the police not around, okay? So you never know.
Nope.
You never know. Okay, I could roll over at 140, 150. I may walk out like the race car drivers. I may not. All my organs, because I try to take care of myself. That's a goal for me. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do anything, because if I want someone to have my organs, they need to be in good condition.
That's wonderful.
So saying that, because we don't know what's going to happen to us, you can be in an accident and all your organs are in wonderful condition. Pristine, especially young people, teenagers, kids, you know, they haven't had a chance yet to blow up their stuff, right? So now, Gabe, let's go to you.
Okay.
When did you first know that you had a problem with your kidneys? Because you had to have a problem to be a recipient, right?
Right.
Okay.
I had really been living a very active, fast-paced life. I was always on the go. Had gotten back into the corporate world, but I had 2 children that were in high school at the time, and very active, and I just loved always having things to do. I was so used to that pace of life that I didn't realize the damage that I was doing to my body in terms of not resting, not getting the proper amount of water. I really did not drink a lot of water. I didn't think much of it. Eating habits, didn't really exercise. But I did, after I had my daughter, she was my second child, they put me on blood pressure medication during my pregnancy. They said that they noticed high blood pressure, so I had started taking the medication. I didn't really know over time that the medications needed to be changed out or adjusted. Your body can just adjust to them. And I was taking the same medications throughout, not knowing that they were not managing my blood pressure. And the damage was done to my kidneys over time based on that. But I just, because of that fast pace, I really didn't recognize. I'd never had any symptoms, as they said, you know, with high blood pressure can be a silent killer. The same with the kidneys. I really didn't have any symptoms until I had gone 2 weekends in a row out of town with my child, and got home and just kind of collapsed just out of exhaustion and went to sleep. And maybe over in midnight or somewhere around then, I woke up and just had a slight cough. And didn't think much of it, but it continued, and it was somewhat annoying. But then I took a breath in, and I felt a sharp sting right in the middle of my chest. And it kind of caught me off guard. But I noticed after that, every time I took a breath in, it caught. And that concerned me, and I got up, and just over the course of that night, it got progressively worse. It didn't get better. So I realized I needed to go and get checked. Still not thinking anything severe or major, but I went to the ER over in the night and got there. And by the time we got to the door, I needed a wheelchair, and we got there and I could barely get a breath in. And when they checked me, they did the triage. No one else was in the emergency room at the time, but they ended up telling my son, who had transported me, that had I not gotten there in 30 minutes, I would not have been alive.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Well, let's go back a minute, because most of us, when we get a little pain here, you know, my first thought would be, is my heart trying to act up here? Or, because we normally associate chest with the heart. And when you said you felt something here, sometimes we think it's acid reflux.
Absolutely.
So what is the connection, do we know, between you having pain here and connecting with the fact that you needed a kidney?
I had fluid overload. Fluid had built up in my body. My kidneys were already not functioning properly. So the toxins had built up in my body, and the fluid over time had just built up to the point where that's why they said, had I not been there in 30 minutes, I would not have survived, because just that fluid on your lungs and not being able to breathe, I think that's a form of suffocation in a sense.
Yeah. Well, okay, well, let me ask you this, because we women, we're known for ignoring. As they said, women we're so busy taking care of everybody else.
Exactly.
That we ignore.
Yes.
Is the only symptom that you had, was it just that day, or had something been happening prior to you getting that pain there that you ignored, or it just happened and it happened?
It just happened, and I attributed it to exhaustion. I just took because it was in the wintertime, it was in November, and we had gone to the football game the weekend that I got ill. The weekend prior to that, we had gone to a dance competition. Both were out of town. They were really hectic, fast-paced, all-day activities. And at the football game, it was extremely cold, and I sat outside in the bleachers, and I just felt that, I was outside too long, in the elements, and, just wore my body out. So that was what I thought was happening, and that's why I didn't take any concern to going and getting checked out, and just figured I'll be right back home, no big deal. But I was in the hospital for almost 15 days, and they did emergency dialysis right there in the hospital. They did a blood transfusion. They said that I was anemic and my blood pressure was beyond numbers, so that was the beginning of my dialysis journey.
Okay, now this is really good, because we're getting ready to go to another break. But when we come back, I want to go into, when you actually got your transplant. Because before we know it, 30 minutes is gone, right? So we're going to talk about your actual transplant, how long you was on the waiting list, how long it took you to get the kidney, and all those, okay?
All right.
Because I'm excited to hear this, and I'm so thankful that you're still with us and that you're looking well and you're doing fine.
And I am. Amen. Thank you.
All right. Watch this space for more medical talk.
Germantown High School has a strong love for choral music, and it's exciting to see how students really develop their skills every single day in the classroom.
Singing is different from everything else because it gives me a way to express myself in ways that other people don't understand sometimes.
He come from the glory. He come down.
Athletics are great, but at some point your body wears out, but you can do music for the rest of your life. Germantown High School currently has 4 choir ensembles. We have an a cappella ensemble, and it's a pop a cappella group. We have chorale, which is an SATB group comprised of about 25 singers, grades 9 through 12. We have a women's chorus, which is predominantly made up of freshmen and a few sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And then we have our chamber choir, which is made up of about 16 singers.
Ready and go.
It allows students to be both leaders and followers all at the same time, and it allows students to be able to develop more than just their music skills, but also their abilities to work together and depend upon one another.
One person may sing the wrong note, but we can all just, help that person. Even though it may be bringing down the choir in that moment, just my choir and chorale, or either all choirs together.
Music is definitely something I do want to continue to have in my life because I've just grown so much love for it.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Thanks for tuning in to Medical Talk. I'm your host, Betty Lamar, and we're having a candid conversation today about the importance of becoming an organ and tissue donor. Welcome back again, ladies. Again, I just can't thank you all enough for being here. And Gay, your journey is absolutely awesome. And I'm sitting here looking at you, and I would never in a million years guess that you received a kidney. Wow.
Absolutely.
You're my first kidney recipient.
Okay. Wonderful.
Word for today. Recipient. I never let anyone else tell me to say recipient. Okay. So anyway, I want to go back to you right now, Ms. Burgess. Okay, remember I told you that I registered years ago on your website.
Right.
So now I've pre-registered to donate my body to science with Genesis.
Okay.
So they did mention to me to make sure that when you all get me, you don't get my skin because then they can't.
Right.
So how do I go back on there and change that?
There's no need for you to go back on there. If you tell your family that you registered with Genesis, but you donated your organs first.
Yes.
And we work very closely with Genesis.
Okay.
So there's no need.
So you all would know because of Genesis not to take my skin.
Yes.
Because when I originally registered, I hadn't registered for science.
Right.
So I said everything.
Okay.
Anything you can use.
Yes, we work very closely with them.
Okay, perfect. Now, back to you, Ms. Gay Hannah. Let's talk about, I just want you to run us through it from top to bottom. You say you went through dialysis. How long were you on dialysis? How long did you have to wait on the kidney? Just take us through that whole process until time runs out here for us, until you get your kidney, and how long was the healing after?
Okay. From the emergency room, that 15-day stay in the hospital, they initiated the dialysis treatments during that time. Before I could be discharged, I had to select a dialysis center where I would receive dialysis. You had the option to do what they call hemodialysis, which was my choice. That's where you go into the clinic 3 days a week. My schedule was Monday, Wednesday, and Friday every week. And you start out 4 hours of treatment. And you have the option to do nocturnal, where you literally go and you just stay overnight. And you're just having your dialysis all night long. And you can sleep in the whole 9 yards. Or you can do home dialysis. I chose not to go that route, but that is an option. They teach you how to treat yourself at home and how to do that. Some people prefer it because it gives them more flexibility at home. I was on dialysis a total of 5 years and 40 days.
Before your kidney? Before you receive your kidney?
Now, in my particular situation, I did not immediately register to sign up for a transplant. They offered it in the hospital, but everything was just foreign to me and generic. I didn't even know what I was getting involved in. So the first 2.5 years, I had not approached the transplant option. I was just learning what I was involved in and so forth. But they always make the opportunity available to you. You cannot just say, I want to be on the transplant list. You have to be evaluated. You have to qualify medically.
Do you have to get like really, really sick before you finally get, you don't?
Oh, no.
Or just one?
Well, before I even agreed to do the transplant, I found out about the living donor option. That's not what Zola and their group does. They do the once you passed on. But there was an option that if I had a family member or someone who was willing to donate, and whether they matched me or not, they had the opportunity to say, well, I'm willing to give you a kidney.
Were they willing?
Well, the ones that volunteered did not qualify. They did match. I mean, everything has to be evaluated medically.
Yeah.
So
have to be a match, basically, right?
It's a search. Right. So I left that alone because it kind of got a bit depressing. I wasn't really focused on it, and when I started doing that, and every time somebody, tried to, they were like, no, you can. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to, when the Lord sees fit, I'm just going to do that. And that's when I said, well, I will go ahead and see about the transplant option. And I had to go through the evaluation. I mean, they evaluate you head to toe, heart, everything about your body has to be evaluated.
Okay, how long once you was evaluated, then how, because I want to get into the nitty gritty of the act so people can know exactly how this, when you get it, how that work.
Okay.
Okay, so once you finally was evaluated and they found that they one day call you and say, we found a kidney, let's go from there.
Okay, that basically was 3 years from the time I got evaluated.
Oh, wow.
I got evaluated in 2018. And in 2021, January 2021, is when I got it. It's a wait game after that. Once you get evaluated and then they say, okay, you're good to go on the list, you go on the list. And from that point, you're just waiting.
Still on dialysis.
Still on dialysis. You have to stay on dialysis. And I mean, those are your two options. The dialysis is operating as your kidney until you receive a transplant and get an actual functioning kidney.
Okay, well, tell me the day when you knew you had the kidney.
New Year's Day of last year, January 2021, preparing to eat my New Year's, middle of the pandemic, about to eat my New Year's dinner, and my big story is I never answer unknown calls. And they had already told you when you got on the list, you have to answer your call. If you miss it, we go on to the next one on the list. So there's a possibility that some people have missed their initial call and opportunity. And I had planned to have a dedicated phone number so that that would be strictly for that. And when that phone rang, I would know what it was. Never got around to doing that. Never answered unknown calls either. But I was sitting there with my phone in my lap, and the phone rang New Year's Day, and it was an unknown call.
Okay, now, this is part one. We're going to come back with part two because we want to talk about post-surgery, after you got the kidney, okay? So we're going to do that too on Let's Talk. Thanks for watching Medical Talk with Betty Lamar on GHS-TV. Remember, you can also watch us on Fridays at 9:30 p.m. on Comcast Channel 17. And for more information on programming, please check us out on the web at ghstv.org. where we're streaming live 24 hours a day. You can also check us out on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Betty Lamar. From all of us at GHS TV, thank you for watching Medical Talk, and I hope to see you again.